Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gannon, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you had not had the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com, and follow us on Instagram at justsayingnog, for article and video updates. Week 1 is done and in the books. We are moving on to the Sunday, Week 2, 1 p.m. games. Jack, let's kick it off right here. We got the New England Patriots coming to New York to take on the Jets in an AFC East division rivalry. Tell us what you got in that one.
Well, I mean, another week where we get to see Mac Jones, Zach Wilson now in their second games, and it was interesting last week for both of these teams. Both of them did not get the win, but now they're looking to not fall behind in this division, at least get a win over each other in this one. But Bill Belichick has a really, really good record against rookie QBs. He's 21-6. So Zach Wilson, especially with Mekhi Becton out, is going to be really, really scary for him, I think.
Yeah, not something that you wanted to see. Your great star, up and coming young left tackle getting injured out 6 to 8 weeks, potentially longer depending on how the season goes. You might just decide to shut him down for the entire year and not even risk the knee injury. I think he had a knee injury last year during his rookie season as well. So if it is the same knee, want to be as cautious as possible, so that way you can ensure that he's around for the long term. I'm looking at this game, man, and I'm circling how well Bill Belichick does against rookies. You wrote it down, 21-6 against them since 2000. And, we watch it year in and year out. When he plays a rookie quarterback and against rookie quarterback, defensive schemes are there, man, and he gets after the quarterback. I'm right off the bat, I'm going to stick with the Patriots on this one. They're going to upset in New York. I think it's really going to come down to that defense and Matt Judon not having to go up against Becton.
Yeah, definitely. And, even Hightower on there, Chung back this year, we started to see last week that, they really disrupted Tua on this defense. And they're going to do the same thing to Wilson this week. Wilson made some good throws last week. Some great bootleg stuff that, we expected.
Absolutely.
That he's got a good arm. I think it's going to be a little bit tougher this week, a lot tougher of a pass rush than it is in Carolina. But I will also go with New England on this one. I think Damian Harris is primed for another big game. He had a fumble last week, which you can't do in New England, but he is going to be, I think he's going to have a great season. So I'm excited to watch him against this kind of weak Jets defense right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, just want to point out, Corey Davis and Wilson, look, they have a good rapport. That's what you want to see if you're a Jets fan. Moving on, Denver Broncos, the guys that just beat you, playing against Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville had that surprise loss. Both you and I did really think that they were going to get that first win against Houston. They didn't. What are your thoughts on this one?
Wow. I mean, last week it was interesting because, Houston, I was like, wow, their defense is really good. When you watch it, you see a lot of mistakes by Trevor Lawrence, which will happen, as a rookie. But, we didn't expect a 3-interception game right out of the gate. I don't think he's ever done that in his life. This is his first regular season loss he's had, I think since he was in high school. So, I think bouncing back now in this game would be huge for him, But the Broncos, I want to swing it to you so you can talk about your guy, Teddy B, former Viking guy you loved when he got drafted so long ago. So I want you to talk about him right now and how he's been, everyone's talking about Von Miller's talking about how he's, such a leader and everything. I want to give you that moment to talk about him and this offense.
I think that Von Miller, the snippet you're talking about, is that clip that came out about him saying, yeah, keep leading us, keep doing those little pep talks in the huddles, keep us going. We haven't seen that since 18 being Peyton Manning. Last time that they also won the Super Bowl. But yeah, dude, Teddy's been my guy since the Vikings drafted him, and I'm super happy that he's having such a great start to the season. Went 28 of 36, 77.8% completion, which is fantastic. 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. That defense was all over Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, buddy. They're going up against a rookie this week. I think they're going up against a weaker defense in the Giants this week as well. I'm going full-on Broncos on this one. I think they're going to start out to a hot 2-0 start. I think it's really going to come down to how balanced that team is going to continue to be. They were really balanced against the Giants, and you just you pair that in with that defense that they have, and especially going up against this Jags team that only ran the ball 5 times to James Robinson for 25 yards, which he needs more carries. It's going to be an easy win for them.
Yeah, and I'm really liking the Broncos offense in this. What I'm also not liking is this Jaguars offense. I have no idea what happened last week. with this Jaguars offense, it really, they struggled. And, the guy that we expected to kind of carry the load for this team, James Robinson, he only had 5 carries. We have no idea what that's about. This is a guy who had 1,000 yards undrafted last year. He had Travis Etienne, get injured, and we expected him to get these carries. But, I don't think I think it's going to take them some time and Urban Meyer some time to get this together. So I'm definitely going with Denver on this one.
Yeah, you gotta go with Vic Fangio and that defense. Moving on, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on Miami Dolphins. Another AFC East showdown. Now, everyone remembers the Dolphins ended their season with a pretty sad loss to the Bills in Buffalo. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, now these are, Buffalo now has a kind of a target on their back, because after last year winning this division, and they want the chance here to kind of take on Miami, and who should have made the playoffs in our opinion last year, if they got started a little bit earlier. And now they're competing. Last week Tua made a couple of mistakes, but he's going to get better. Will Fuller and Jalen Waddle are now going to be playing together on the field, and when Will Fuller is healthy, and now that he's coming back from suspension, he is well rested. He is fully healthy. He is going to have a great day. I think watching him versus Tre'Davious White is going to be so much fun. But, I think that it's up to, this Bills offense versus the Miami defense, which is, as you've talked about in the past, is just so great at, scheming to disrupt the quarterback.
I'm looking at this, and Josh Allen did look a little bit rusty, and I'm not going to say he's therefore going to have a bad season because of that. He was also going up against a really great defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is going to be really, it's always going to be hard to move the ball against them. Even though they did beat them last year, teams change. They learned the different schemes to get around certain plays that you have. It made it difficult for him. I think that the biggest concern here that you're looking at is Diggs going to be able to get by all these guys? Diggs wasn't really a huge factor in this game compared to others. Only 9 for 69, which is weird. Like, you just expect him to kind of go like 14 and 140. That's what he kind of did week in and week out of last year. So I expect a big one from Diggs this one. I think he's getting over 100 yards. I think that's how Buffalo is going to get this started. I think they're really just going to keep going deep downfield with him. It's going to open up all the under routes that he likes to go to Beasley. I think they're going to end up doing and winning this game. And one thing I really want to highlight, and something I've been nervous about them for a while, is their run game. They haven't really had a good run game. I was really happy to see Singletary getting 11 carries for 72 yards. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to see. Now you can rely on him a little bit more if you're Josh Allen and you're the Bills offense, and that's huge coming into this year.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go with Buffalo on this one too. I think that last week, as you said, it was a tough matchup coming out the gate, and the Steelers really had a big team win against this Buffalo team last week. So I think that they are definitely set on being one of the better teams in the conference this year. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo on this one too. Definitely, I think Josh Allen is a big game.
Yep, that Bills team is good. Moving on, got the 49ers going to Philly, taking on the Eagles. What are your thoughts on that one?
Man, I mean, I am not one to praise the Eagles, but, if one defense really just showed up and disrupted last week, it was them. They shut the Atlanta offense down last week, and we thought, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, we thought it was going to be enough to get it done. I think this San Francisco offense needs to prove whether they can get it done. After losing Raheem Mostert last week, we're asking, hey, is Elijah Mitchell going to be the guy? Is Trey? Who's gonna be the guy here throughout the season? And the Philadelphia Eagles are a big test because now, after what Deebo Samuel is able to do, is he going to be able to do that against Darius Slay? There's so many questions going into this game for both of these teams.
Yeah, if you're an Eagles fan, though, you have to be really happy with what you saw from Hurts in this week one as the full-time starter now, running, extending plays, showing that his mobility, throwing darts to receivers going across his body, hitting Goddard down low. It was a really impressive game for him. What's a little scary with the 49ers is they have two quarterbacks they can throw out there at any moment with two totally different skill sets, but that absolutely can manage this offense. That's gonna be really dangerous down the road, especially in a tough NFC West division. It could be huge to actually have these two quarterbacks. The one thing I'm looking at in this game is I think the 49ers have the slight edge defensively. I think that their ability to get after the quarterback is going to be Joey Bosa. I think he's going to be able to get after Hurts a lot. I want to lean with the 49ers in this one, Jack. Although I really do like what the Eagles offense has been able to do. And I like that we saw Rigor a little bit in there more. And you know me, I'm a big Hurts fan, and I hate going against that guy because I think he's I think he's a really young and up-and-coming quarterback, but I'm going to leave with the 49ers here, despite the massive comeback that the Lions had. I think that when you can roll out 2 quarterbacks, when you can roll out 18 different running backs in any season with Kyle Shanahan, you're going to find ways to win the game. And you got George Kittle back and healthy.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, like you said, there's just so many weapons. Deebo Samuel last week having one of the best weeks of his entire career last week in week 1. But I agree, man. Jalen Hurts, one of the top up and coming guys. So I'll probably, I don't like to go on the Eagles, but on this, I'll tell you,
you're going to.
I'm going to. And I think that the fact that, Jalen Hurts is, like you said, just able to manage this offense and give us more than what we saw last year. He's going to be scary. 3 touchdowns, no picks. He threw a touchdown on 8% of his throws right there, only 35 attempts. He completed 77% of his throws. He only took 1 sack. I think he just is so talented. And, then you also have Miles Sanders, that run game. I doubted Miles Sanders. I was a big Miles Sanders doubter. He had over 70 yards on the ground last week. I think it presents an opportunity for him to get that done, this week. But it's going to be a tough defensive matchup, like you said. But I'm going with Philly.
All right, I love it. Moving on, we got the LA Rams take on the Colts. I'm going to just save everyone a bunch of time here, and you guys don't need to hear me continue talking. I'm going with the Rams. I've been all in on the Matthew Stafford trade since the very beginning. Week 1 just proved everything. It was his best statistical game he's ever had in his career. Boom, bang, boom. Sorry, Colts.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Colts too. I love their run game, but it's just not going to be enough. I mean, the Rams are definitely going to be favorites this year, watching Matthew Stafford have, like you said, one of his better games of his career. And I think that he's able to get everybody involved in this offense. We saw, Darrell Henderson getting involved, Kupp, Woods, Van Jefferson. I think that what's incredible is, we have so many cool defensive people to watch in this, some of the best defensive players in the league, Aaron Donald, DeForest Buckner, Leonard, and Ramsey, obviously in LA. There's so many people to watch in this game, but it's got to be the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. We got the LA Raiders. Oh my God, Las Vegas Raiders heading to Pittsburgh, taking on the Steelers. They got a huge win against the Ravens, and they're facing another AFC North opponent. What you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, if they beat the Steelers, you have to ask, are the Raiders, legit? But I also want to find out first in this one if their run game is legit. They paid a lot for Kenyon Drake. A lot of people are excited about Josh Jacobs this year. We saw him, get a touchdown last week. But, this game, last week they showed us that, their defense is ready to step up in tight situations, which could be dangerous for a lot of teams. The Steelers offense looked pretty sloppy last week. Big Ben only 188 yards through the air. I want to see, that same disruption from this Raiders defense. Your boy Max Crosby was running all over the field, chasing down Lamar Jackson last week. I want to see that. I think he can go right after, Big Ben this week, have a disruptive game. But I want to see Derek Carr go off again, man. Led the league last week with 435 yards. I couldn't believe it.
Dude, he was electric. That being said, though, this is a legit Steelers defense. They only let up 270 pass yards against the Bills, who, again, we were talking about last year, we're just hitting on all cylinders, doing a great job. Maybe it was Josh Allen's rest. Maybe it was just the defensive team they put together. I don't think that the Raiders will have as easy of a time passing on them.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit harder. I think Carr's going to be under a little bit more pressure than he was on Monday Night Football, and that's going to be critical. I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. I think that their defense is going to be able to get it done, and I think their offense is going to kind of click against the Raiders. The Raiders are 50-50 on defense. They made some big plays on Monday, but Big Ben is a seasoned veteran Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
This is a get-right game for him, and this is going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one, too. I think that the Ravens last week were trying to kind of adjust through their offense, through all their running back injury situations. And I think Najee Harris showed us enough that he's able to take some carries. I'd love to see him kind of take, a better look this week and get over 20 touches. I think Big Ben wants that and I think that the Steelers at home, I like them against the Raiders, definitely.
Love them. All right, moving on. We have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Chicago Bears. Bengals broke my heart in OT. What you got for us?
Man, the two top runners from last week, going to be probably a big running back matchup this week for, Joe Mixon and David Montgomery. And, Joe Mixon last week, 127 yards. That led the league through week one. He had 29 carries. We were trying to wonder what this offense in Cincinnati is going to look like. It looks like Joe Burrow is going to be able to support these three receivers as well as, Joe Mixon being able to, get it done. I mean, especially against this Bears defense, going to be a big test for him.
Yeah, if the Bears defense was doing what they were doing last weekend and just letting Cooper Kupp run by them, Jamar Chase is going to have a feel like Jamar Chase was turning heads on the Vikings cornerbacks. If you watch that Patrick Peterson clip, or if you just watch the touchdown they had against Rashad Breeland, he was all over the place. That's not what you want to see. They looked off, and I didn't like that. That being said, Andy Dalton's playing his former team. He's going to come at this little chip on his shoulder. He went to so many playoffs with them, but never actually won one of them. Here's your chance to beat them, Andy.
Yeah.
But I think if he has another meh kind of game, like he didn't do anything wrong week one. He just didn't do anything that amazing in week one. And I think if that continues against the Bengals, I think Maggie, it's going to get even louder in your ear, put in Justin Fields. So that's why I'm going with the Bengals in this one. And they got the offensive weapons that they're going to get a surprise win. I think we're going to see Fields coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one because I think that last week they're gonna have to make a lot of adjustments, and I think that they can take advantage of this Bengals offensive line. I think that the only advantage that the Bears really have is their front seven right now, as well as I think that Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney have a little bit easier of a matchup as the Rams secondary was just all over this team last week. So I would really like to see Allen Robinson have a really big game as well for the Bears. I think that David Montgomery could also have a big game. That Bengals offense is really dangerous, but their defense still has some work to do.
Yep, Cook ran the ball well against. So moving on, Houston Texans heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Similar to the Rams one, I'm going to save people a lot of time with this one. I think the Browns are going to get this game, and they're going to have a nice win over the Texans. The Texans surprised in week one, but they also benefited from playing against a rookie who was making a lot of very simple rookie mistakes. Trevor Lawrence is still going to have a great career, I believe. We all have our bad games. I just don't think the Texans have enough to slow down all of the weapons that the Browns have, whether it's the running backs or the wide receivers. And then we saw how good their defense was last week. They got to finish that out for 4 quarters. Not 2.5 isn't going to cut it. It was shown last week against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Got to go the full 4 here. But against the Texans, it's going to absolutely happen.
Yeah, so I just got to ask, do you think with all these weapons, do you think that Chubb and Hunt can both get 100 rushing yards against this Texans defense? We saw that.
If
there's one thing, the Texans secondary may be, a strength for them. But, I think that, on the ground, that this Browns team could run for over 200 yards this week.
No, I 100% absolutely agree. They could easily both get 100 yards per runner. The way Chubb was moving last week against the Chiefs, I was like, dude, are you already in week 8? You are in full-on mid-season form. I was absolutely impressed by him. So I think both of them can absolutely run amok on this defense. I'm taking it that you're also going the Browns here, right?
Yeah, I'm going with the Browns. They're in Cleveland. I like it. I think that it's going to be a great game for Baker Mayfield as well.
Awesome. All right, moving on. Last game in the 1 p.m. slots that we have. New Orleans Saints taking on the Panthers. Now, the Saints were absolutely electric last week. Jameis Winston. 148 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think he's the first player in NFL history.
He had the lowest amount of yards and the lowest amount of pass attempts ever for a 5-touchdown game. Jameis Winston, everybody. Clap it up.
Good for him. Dude's eating W's.
Incredible.
He is eating W's, my man.
And they were good touchdowns, Sean. They were big. He was throwing deep. They were creating.
Jair who?
Yeah, Jair who? We were like Jair Alexander. Oh man, But I mean, they, right? Last week we got to see the Panthers. Their new quarterback, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold also had somebody else back on that Panthers offense with him, Christian McCaffrey, who we were very happy to see play football again.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey was electric. He was so close to going 100 and 100.
I know.
Rush yards and receiving yards. It was awesome. Which makes me believe he's going to have another 1,000 and 1,000 season, especially with 17 games if he continues this tear that he's been having. All of this being said, I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to just buy into the Jameis hype. They got a good defense. They got a defense that's good enough. I'm gonna buy into it. The Panthers were a little shaky on offensive parts. They're going to be playing a much better defense. I think that this could still be a very good game, but I think that the Saints are going to come out on top.
Yeah, and credit to the Saints defense. We've seen them step up big. We gave them a little bit of credit, but it's really tough when we couldn't believe how they just demolished Aaron Rodgers in that offense last week. You just wonder what they could do to a guy like Sam Darnold that when we've seen in the past kind of when he's disrupted, he throws it off his game. And, even last week, he was able to find Robbie Anderson on a big thing, but it's looking like DJ Moore is going to be his top target.
Yeah, I love DJ Moore, man. I'm excited for his season. I'm still in awe that the Packers game went down like that.
I can't believe it.
Get over it.
I was just looking at it. I'm like, I can't believe Jameis. I can't believe I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, I can't believe Jameis has 5 touchdowns. Good for him.
I was
Sean Payton, man. Sean Payton.
I was just like, what? And then I was also like, Packers are losing. Rodgers has to intercept him. So I was still a happy Vikings fan despite the loss. That was nice. Yeah. But that's all the time that we have.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, but I'm definitely going with the Saints with you. I'm on the Jameis train.
My bad.
But that is all the time that we have. And, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Check us out, justsayingfootball.com. Just saying, no GWJS on Instagram. And check us out on YouTube at Just Saying Football. Thank you for watching.